Hey everyone, it's the Brain in a Vat again. Welcome back to the True Crime Bad Actors Studio. The format will be a little bit quieter this evening. A few of our guests have taken a break, but we'll still be talking with a few friends. So, in our last episode, we reviewed the evidence on AB, AV, and Hutton's ongoing behavior in the missing West Boys case. And now we have a pattern to analyze and see if it is repeated moving forward into other cases. After all, what is it that Fish always says? Prior behavior is the best predictor for future behavior, no? Let's see if that dictum holds up. So, the pattern, if there is one, is the creation of conspiracy theories for sensational YouTube content and maybe to drive views, false accusations against innocent people who have seemingly nothing to do with the cases in question, and all of this done by people who purport to have a concern for victim advocacy in the true crime space. We have evidence of how this behavior has affected real ongoing criminal investigations and even the negative impact it has on law enforcement efforts in general. We even have the evidence that Hutton, McDonough's right-hand man, got arrested, not only in the fake Antelope Valley case, but also in the West case, going after the neighbor of the adoptive parents of the West Boys. Exemplary victim advocacy and true crime investigation. Doug truly lives up to his rightful name as Yum Instigates and sheds any pretense of doing any legitimate investigation. So, we have already presented, unfortunately, our first two innocent victims in this story, Cherry Vasquez and Mike, the neighbor of the West Boys' adoptive parents. But there will be more victims and arguably more dangerous behavior to come from this clown posse of frauds going forward. So, let's move on to the tragic case of the missing young girl, Summer Wells, and see what the dishonest clown posse is up to this time. Maybe, after the mistakes made in the West case, the bad actor YouTubers will have learned humility, honesty, and the presumption of innocence, the basis of our justice system. And unfortunately, we have a new victim to present, another innocent person falsely accused, Jamie Wilson, whose horrific crime is wanting to help find Summer. And for his sins, he receives death threats, accusations of being involved in child trafficking, and a visit from the McDonough militiamen at his home. So let's try to figure out what happened there. So it all begins with our beloved ex-Super cop, Fish McDonough, who was invited on a Web Sleuths panel to speculate out of his caboose again for a few hours, while the doting co-hosts stare at their phone, nod in the affirmative, and hang on every spurious imaginary link and false pattern that the old Super Sleuth spews. Listen to the ex-Super cop's stream of consciousness on the air, as if any of it is meaningful or relevant to this case. Watch their faces as they admire the old fella and follow him down a bunch of one-way rabbit holes. Look at how convinced they appear, not daring to challenge a word. More obsequiousness for the win. This kabuki theater lacked only haunting music to properly simulate this D-grade after-school special, aptly named Sherlock Holmes, The Dementia Years. So make sure and focus on the moment that the Grand Poobah irresponsibly and mistakenly refers to and implicates the guy who made the dog trail video. McDonough begins with, listen very carefully when you listen to that tape again. Okay, he slips. The old used car salesman begins to insinuate innocent Jamie Wilson into the conspiracy through this innuendo and intonation of voice. A proper investigator would not have made this mistake and would have verified and vetted who made the video, and if it was indeed Don Wells' colleague. But not this old fella. He just puts it out there. So McDonough goes on to say, and he says, yeah, well, we carpooled together. And you can go listen to it. It's in that conversation. Okay? Well, guess who just did the dog video? The dog trail video for Dawn. And then Amy finishes his mistake for him. Jamie, which he confirms with correct. And he finishes with okay. So there's a lot of moving parts here, which is code for I have no idea where I am or what I even just said. Now, there's really no need to watch the end of the video. The damage was done in those first few minutes. So I'll end it with his reference to the crazy guy, apparently unconsciously referring to himself.
Then becomes, significant. Why is Grandma, Hunter, Summer, right, and Candace in this truck? Why pick that truck that day?
Right.
Because she says, I threw my phone into the back of Don's truck. Remember that?
Right.
When she's going to call 911.
Right.
Grandma's phone.
Right. So she's got two carriers. Okay. Now, Grandma must have Verizon. Okay? Or Candace has Verizon. Okay? I'm not sure who has Verizon, but according to her, Verizon didn't work. So she tossed that, went and got the AT&T phone. Okay. And now, okay, she can make that 911 call. Okay? So we have her statement of she was in the grandma's truck. Don's truck is probably on that property, according to her.
Right.
Oh, he had to take
And
it.
so now Don fills the gap. And he says, well, I had the Subaru. And Don told me I was racing back and I almost, went on, lost it a couple of times. Okay? The challenge with that is, okay, he's filling in the gap of, why is that Subaru? Why do I have to enter this conversation with the Subaru? Okay. Is it important what car he drove back to find Summer?
It's got to be.
Well, it is if the truck, if Candace establishes in that timeline that Don's truck is already on the property. Somebody has to be driving a Subaru. Otherwise,
he has to be off the property.
Right. Otherwise, Don's home.
Right. Don can't be home.
Now let's add two other vehicles that he added into the mix.
Okay.
The yellow vehicle, where Summer is in the background of the TikTok, dancing in the rain. That belongs to the crazy guy, who's suspect number one in his mind.
Right.
Okay? And then Jamie's truck, his partner. Okay. Now listen very carefully when you listen to that tape again. Okay. He slips and he says, well, yeah, we carpool together. Okay. And you can go listen to it. It's in that conversation. Okay. Well, guess who just did the dog trail video for Don?
Jamie.
Correct. Okay. So now, see, there's a lot of moving parts here. Okay. Well, and so I let him say it, and then I asked him. I said, "Well, that day?" And he realized, "Oh crap! I just let it out."
Right.
And he goes, no, this was before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But now you have the crazy guy who's mixing muds on crocodile.
And there you have it. This is how Jamie Wilson was insinuated into an unsubstantiated conspiracy theory because of a lazy ex-cop turned YouTube influencer. And it wasn't long before Jamie felt the weight of the loyal McDonough cult foot soldiers. Because make no mistake, Fish has already made up his mind that Don is guilty, despite the lack of evidence to support it. And you can identify his sycophant YouTubers because they all follow suit and continue to dedicate their focus on the low-hanging fruit of Don Wells. You see, the hallmark of the bad actors in the YouTube true crime space is that they all follow the McDonough principle. Guilty until proven innocent on my show.
I get it. I get it, man. It's never fun if somebody's calling you out on something, but you're welcome to come on my show.
They have no concern for the burden of proof, evidence, or investigative ethics. They have no qualms about runaway speculation, and they thrive on making unsubstantiated, bombastic, and sensational claims to drive the views. And what better tabloid content than going after the family of the missing girl? After all, Don can't seem to keep himself off of YouTube or out of trouble. But none of that makes him guilty. That's simply not how justice works in a free country. You don't have to like Don. That's your prerogative. But if you're wrong about his involvement in Summer's disappearance, you're attacking an already traumatized family of a missing girl, who also currently do not have their other children either. What an admirable thing you're doing. And Fish also spins various narratives about child sex trafficking.
Is their involvement in a trafficking ring targeted? Are they being used, groomed? Have they been used under the guise of witchcraft?
And bringing on unvetted organizations like Operation Underground Railroad without looking up the criticism first. Why is that? I looked up the criticism. Doesn't look like he vetted them or had any concern or any desire to actually address these valid criticisms. Like, for example, the fact that the founder of the organization is under investigation, essentially for fraud and possibly channeling funds into a for-profit business, and apparently possibly having admitted in front of other people what his true intent was. And so why did Fish promote this organization? Well, because it's sensational and salacious. It feeds the fear and hunger of the cult as concerns missing young children. And after all, this is the ministry of Fish, the savior of lost children, a favorite tactic to use for certain YouTubers. And let's not forget that a large constituency of Fish's cult are already susceptible to the QAnon cult and highly religious, especially in the context of missing children, which touches a painful nerve in all of us. He knows that. And if you look at the spokespersons and people promoting the Operations Underground Railroad high production promotional video, you just might notice some powerful faces who pay regular lip service to QAnon. That's not a coincidence. So, how does all that fit into Jamie Wilson's coming plight? Well, he won't simply be accused of being in the conspiracy with Dawn. He'll also be accused of being involved in child trafficking as well. Now, his apologists will suggest that this was just a simple mistake, and he certainly never suggested that Jamie was involved in any nefarious trafficking rings, nor is he responsible for the actions of his most ardent and irresponsible cult followers. But if you wish to make that argument, how is it that you think these people came up with those ideas? Why did they target Jamie Wilson in particular? If you think it has nothing to do with our old fish, then you're either naive or dishonest. Now, I couldn't possibly do this story justice, so I will now hand it over to Jamie to tell the story. This is his story. There is nothing that I could have said better than Jamie does himself. Passionate, honest, moral, and very rational. We would all do well by taking what Jamie has to teach us to heart. And on a personal note, I had an opportunity to chat with both Jamie and his friend Triggered Minds. I'd be honored to consider Jamie as a friend, in all of his hillbilliness glory. You wear that badge honorably, my friend, and with integrity. I might be, after all, it's true, a city slicker, but I know good people when I see and hear them. And you have every right to be pissed off, Jamie. I found you incredibly forgiving and even charitable after what happened to you. I'm not sure I would be able to retain that same level of composure. So, to all of you, please go listen to the entire video from Jamie. I tried to shorten it as much as possible so that this video did not become too long, and it deserves to be listened to in its entirety. He understands a lot more about fairness and justice than fish ever will.
Guys, supposedly there's this big rumor around that I know the Wells family all for years and years and years. And look, I get the fact that we may talk the same and all that, but we did not know each other. I did not know anything about nothing in their lives, no social media friends, nothing, until Summer Wells went missing. I didn't know this family at all. Seems to me like, I mean, man, people are making it out, and I mean, it's not true, man. It's not true. I don't know who starts these rumors and who don't. But I don't know. I did not know the family until Summer went missing. That right there needs to be understood. Once that's understood, the rest, y'all, you're gonna be like, oh well, nothing else has been said makes sense then. I mean, for real. But there were several things that was said that, you know, fingers got pointed to me. You know, yes, I went and done the video at the lake. You know, I'm pretty sure I was the first one to do that, and I didn't want no credit. I want Summer found. With any of this video or any of the other videos or anything on my page recently, it's mostly to try to find Summer. That I'm not one to do these little skits and stunts and all this stuff. And there's a lot of people, that's all they do. And then when they see a missing persons case or something, then they jump on it because they know that's always got everybody's attention. And it seems to me like, man, it don't really matter what's being talked about. As long as her name is mentioned, you all will listen. When my buddy Luke Vance went missing back a couple years ago, me and Daniel, and that's only name, I'm just going to say his first name, basically led that search. We came up with the reward money, all that. No sheriff's department did it. So we had to. And, you know, by doing that, we had to, you know, go out to the community and I guess people, you know, we got kind of known for it, especially for that. Besides that, he was one of my, best friends. So after that, it seemed like another missing person comes up. There was this little girl, lives like, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 miles from me. Little girl goes missing. My phone starts going berserk. I jump in the car, go over there, and, you know, we searched for like 6-7 hours. And the THP helicopter with, you know, the heat signature radar on there is what found that little girl. But what I'm getting at is, and when Summer went missing, and I want to help, but it was like people were messaging, hey man, you live there, and this case right here, I think, has made people lose their minds. I mean, and I am a prime example of how some of y'all lost your minds. a web sleuth page. That's the name of the page, Web Sleuths. And I don't know anything about the page or nothing, but that was the page that was live, and they were like 5,000 people watching this while it was live. Maybe some of you, I don't know. But the Web Sleuth was live, and then they had Chris McDonough, I don't know how you say his last name. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the investigator guy. That's been here, and he's been to the Wells family as that. I actually, one of the nights he was here, or I thought he was in town, I made a comment on his page and offered to buy him supper if he's still in town. I don't know. I mean, I get he's got, 75,000 followers on that page, and hey, he got some loyal ones. I'm gonna get into that in a second. But he got on there and got me confused with Don's old boss, which his name is Jamie Killian, not Jamie Wilson. That's two separate names right there. And he got us confused and basically said that, I was the one that, I was friends with Don, and I was the one that was given the alibi. I was like his free alibi. And guys, from there, the rumors have went from that to people actually showed up at my house with guns. And I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the stuff you all have started. Some of the crap you all have started. So I am not Don's old boss. That was a big mess up. But by that mess up, man, I started getting messages, threatening messages. Then I started getting threatening phone calls. And it's all because, I don't know what to call it, to be honest with you. I don't know. Is it laziness? It can't be lack of knowledge, because like I said, I'm real easy to find out who I am. I've got my motorcycle license. I got CDL. There's other things that's registered with the state of Tennessee that I'm real easy to look up. I'm not a criminal, So I don't really understand how this mistake could have been made, but by it being made, and like I said a few minutes ago, no, there was not people showed up with guns, but yes, there was people showed up. That's not a lie. That did happen. Guys, and I'm going to say this. I'm not on here to bash anybody. I'm on here to hopefully somebody learns a lesson from this. I'll be honest with you. This time last year, I didn't really realize how powerful somebody's words on this little box right here, how powerful their words really is. I didn't realize that. Me getting implicated, I was getting messages, people telling me that they knew that I had Summer at my house, and they was going to come and go through all my house they didn't care what anybody said. And they also told me they knew that I'd done something to her, and they told me he's coming to kill me. These vehicles, which I'm not going to get into that, and they had no idea. And these vehicles was up and down this road, just a dead end, taking pictures and, whatever else. By these little words like that right there, and taking consideration that I'm not here by myself, I live with my family. So that's the difference between daylight and dark for me. If I was here by myself, I'd invite you to come on in and have a hamburger, get you a Mountain Dew. But when there's family here, that's a totally different ballgame, man, especially when I've done nothing wrong, man. It's just mind-blowing to me, man, that people would actually go that far without that much evidence. You're going to go that much of a distance over no evidence. I mean, like I said, I'm very easy to look up. I'm an open book. I don't have nothing to hide from nobody. Why wouldn't you send a message first off and ask who I am, what I am, before you put my name in your mouth? I don't know, man. I just don't get it. It's dangerous, guys. It is very, very dangerous. And like I said, for me to have people, showing up at my house, I see all these other people on these other people's videos that's accusing. Whether it be, hey, look, I've been accused. I've noticed anybody that tries to help, anybody that makes a post and says, hey, I'm going to go pass out some flyers. I'm going to go get some bags of ice. I'm going to go over here because this lady asked me to. I'm going to go do video of the lake. I'm going to go to the dog trail. I'm going to go to their house. And the reason I mentioned all that's because that's all I've done. Pat on the back for it. I want Summer found at the end of the day. That's it. By anybody doing just one of those things I've saw on the internet, they start getting accused. I can't stand a liar. So if you've commented on that little stream with your fingers, you're just as guilty. You understand how that works? It's past that point. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm a nice guy. I understand mistakes happen. I get it. But listen, for so many of you all to hear that, there was 5,000 watching. So many of y'all heard that. I know Triggered Crimes right here, and you'll see that's one of my moderators. It's not one of the only ones that I know that actually stood up for me. I'm freaking huge about loyalty. A lot of y'all already know that. A lot of y'all's already failed that. Before you can get your foot in the door, you've done failed. I read your comment. I know what you said. And it ain't right, guys. It's not right. It ain't fair to me. It ain't fair to the Wells family. What you're doing, you're discrediting, in my mind, the real professionals, the FBI, the TBI, and Hawkins County law enforcement. You're discrediting them. Because in my mind, if they had some kind of evidence that this family done anything wrong, with as much pressure as getting is put on from, guys, this is, the whole country's reaching out. I promise you they'd have somebody in jail by now. I get the fact the guy's got 75,000 followers. Is that why nobody go against him? You know, if it offends you what I'm saying, you're part of the problem, to be honest with you. This didn't happen tonight. This didn't happen the night before last. It was the night before that. So I've waited 3 nights. Trust me, the first night I was dying, you know. And if anybody that knows me knows what I'm talking about right there when I say that. But I waited this long before I did, because look, and I'm glad I did, because I promise you, he didn't get the message that he knew anything was going on until last night, from my understanding. And he did go and correct it, or, you know, this and that. But guys, like I said, I give him props. He's got some loyal people, man. I'm like, golly, that is crazy that these people actually showed up almost to my house within, 200 yards from my house. Okay. I don't know, it just blows my mind. But it's dangerous, guys. And then you all on here accusing anybody of something without knowing for 100% sure. This summer, Wells, little girl gone missing. And she's still not found, guys. We still don't know where she's at. But her going missing has really opened my eyes on how daggum crazy you all on the internet are. My gosh, y'all blow my mind. Like, some of the stuff you say. And then I'll even go in there and comment, but I'm Jamie, and that's not true. They don't even care. They just keep running with it. And I'm like, golly. And what you don't realize is that people are that crazy. They showed up. Yes, they showed up. You know, and that's the thing. I know a lot of y'all big YouTubers, man, and you are dying for anything new, Summer Wells, anything, because a lot of y'all has made some huge money off this little girl gone missing. That's sad, man. I'm not monetizing on nothing. I ain't never got a dime from none of these people. I never will. But some of y'all, man, it's disgusting what you're doing. What Chris said I did, or what I was a part of. I don't care what he comebacks and retracts. It will never, ever, ever be unsaid. The damage is already done, guys. Once you make a statement like that, you can't take it back, especially if you've got loyal people. But I'm going to say this. They didn't come over to eat pizza. That ain't why they were here. Their message right before I seen the vehicles was that they were coming in my house to look for Summer, whether I liked it or not. The damage is done. That's all I can say. I'm just saying, you all need to be careful. It's very, very serious. And, not only that, y'all need to listen to where your information's coming from. Okay? Listen to where your information's coming from. Any kind of investigator will be able to find that information out very fast. Very fast. They can have my driving record and everything very fast. Okay? And that wasn't done. That was not done. And look, guys, I get the fact that mistakes happen. But mistakes also get people killed. These people that died today because of a mistake. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Jamie did something like that. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your loyalty, because you showed me your true colors. You're one of them little bandwagon bitches is what I call them. That's what you are. And look, if I did that to you, it's not fair, is it? Especially now when you're finding out the truth. Boy, don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel like an idiot? And I get a lot of you want some attention and that, but look, none of this is about you. I don't care if you've got 675,000 followers or if you've only got 5. None of this is about you. It's all about bringing Summer home. And I think some people, their head is kind of swelled up because they're like, oh my gosh, I can mention Summer Wells and boy, my views go way up. Web sleuth should delete their video where that was said about me because it is not true. I got 40 screenshots of comments, so don't go and try to delete it. Best thing you can do is own up and say, Jamie, I'm sorry I listened to the idiots. You know, I didn't realize that, and I won't do that again. That's the best thing you can do. Other than that, I won't have nothing to do with you. You know, I like real people. You know, yeah, I'm a hillbilly. I'm 100% hillbilly when it comes to that. Yeah. I mean, for any of y'all to think I had something to do with this, it just blows my mind. It shows me, like I said, man, I get the fact people make mistakes, but good God, I don't know, man. I get maybe people just didn't understand how loyal their people was. Hey, like I said, I give you props because, man, they showed up. Two different vehicles, matter of fact.
So, what did the mean one, Mr. Fish, do to make it up to Jamie and correct his irresponsible and dangerous error? Well, you will shortly hear what one of his apologists has to say about his attempt. She was perfectly satisfied by his response and bent over backwards in mental gymnastics that any contortionist would be proud of. According to Tiffany Marie, he felt horrible and instantly, upon learning of the mistake, made formal apologies to Jamie. So let's take a look together at the evidence to see if that claim holds up under scrutiny. Hey, all, recently I mentioned. Wait, hold on. I think that's missing a comma. Let me begin again. Hey, all. Stop. Recently, I mentioned a gentleman named Jaime as taking the dog trail video and thought he was the same Jaime Don was talking about. Who is Jaime Don? Is that some character from Man of La Mancha? I love that movie. I even went to the play with a kid when I was a kid. Apparently, that is Jamie Wilson, who is helping to clarify the dog trail, not Jamie Killian, who Dawn was talking about. Please let folks know that I have clarified this information. So I have no idea who Jaime Don is. Sounds like a Spanish name to me. Anyway, I don't see any apology to Jamie Wilson here. Looks like he simply fulfilled his promise to Tiffany and wants it known that he made a clarification for the record. It looks as though he's saying something like, hey everyone, gym class will begin an hour later on Thursday. Definitely not a very compelling response after his error resulted in death threats and his cult members threatening Jamie in front of his home, on the phone, and on social media. So maybe he did better elsewhere. Let's see what else there is. Here's another one. Okay, here he says Jamie Wilson is not the Spanish guy Jaime Don. This is really confusing. That doesn't look like an apology to Jamie either. Maybe he said it in the video when he was on Unmasked. Let's go listen.
Can I just say one thing about a mistake I made on the Summer situation about somebody? We were talking about...
I gotta go, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Aloha. I just want to clear the record. I said a kid by the name of Jamie. That was a coworker of Don. I got the wrong Jamie. It was. I just knew the name Jamie, and there's two Jamies, and the one that did the video on the dog trail is a kid by the name of Jamie Wilson, and I was talking about the other guy, and apparently people are telling this guy, "Hey, wait a minute, what are you doing with working with Don? He's not the guy. That's not the right Jamie. It's the other Jamie." Okay, so just for the record, and thank you for letting me say that on your show. I told somebody today that I would make that correction or make that clarity.
He says, I made a mistake. I was talking about the other guy. And apparently, people are telling this guy, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing with working with Dawn? He's not the guy. That's not the right Jamie. It's the other Jamie. I'm not seeing an apology anywhere here either. But this time he didn't say anything about Jaime Antonio de la Doncha. This is pathetic and despicable. People are not saying, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing with working with Dawn? They're saying something more like, hey, you kitty trafficker, we know you have Summer, and we're coming to kill you. We are from the McDonough clan. More evidence of what a horrible person and narcissist this McDonough is. Couldn't even make a sincere apology to Jamie or look as if he cared one bit that his mistake put someone in his family in mortal danger. Jamie deserved 100 times better than this. He deserved a personal call and a heartfelt apology. He owed him a formal apology on his show in front of his cult, and to tell them that anyone who goes after him will have to deal with him directly, and in no uncertain terms. And he could have even invited Jamie on his show to show solidarity with Jamie and to highlight the good work he has done trying to find Summer. You're a mean one, Mr. Fish. And this is only one piece of evidence I can mount in defense of that strong claim. And web sleuths should also be embarrassed as well for not correcting it on their forum, where it originated. So now we're going to hear from another one of the McDonough apologists and sycophants who had him on her show the night his channel was terminated for repeated and serious bullying, defamation, and harassment. And PurplexedQT will also join our panel. Take it away, Perplexed.
This is what happened. And this happened, I want to say.
Sorry, Tiffany, which day was that?
This happened, I want to say.
I'm not sure that's even one of the actual 7 days of the week, but okay, I guess it doesn't matter.
This happened, I want to say, about almost 2 months ago, around 2 months ago. I might have the time a little off.
Okay.
But what happened was Don Wells had gone up on panel and talked about being at work with Jamie. That's all he said, Jamie. And then he made another statement saying that the guy's name was Jamie Killian.
Okay.
So he did say the last name, right?
Okay.
So Chris thought that it was Jamie Wilson.
Okay.
What happened was he got the wrong person. He made a mistake. What happened was I called Chris and I sent him some messages and I let him know he had the wrong Jamie. When Chris got those messages, he immediately went into his Discord, put out a statement to all of the people in his Discord. He went to his Twitter. He put out a statement to everybody on his Twitter, and he went on Unmasked that night because he was scheduled to go on, and he cleared it up in front of thousands of people. He made sure to make sure that he said that it was not Jamie Wilson. It was the wrong Jamie. He apologized to Jamie, and he did feel very sorry about it. I talked to Chris about this.
Here is the first lie that Tiffany tells in this conversation. You heard the evidence. There was not a single apology to Jamie. He simply said he made a mistake and wanted people to know he clarified it. There was no sign that he felt sorry about it at all.
I'm the one that contacted him to let him know he had the wrong person. So I personally like Jamie Wilson a lot. I think he's a great person. He has done a lot out there. So I told Chris these good people. He felt horrible about it. I know Jamie's upset because Chris did not correct it on his channel, and he's upset because web sleuths did not correct the information and it happened on their platform.
Okay, why wouldn't he do it on his channel? Why wouldn't he correct it on his channel?
That night. He corrected it that night. So that night, he was already scheduled to go on Masked. Now, I don't know. I know Jamie is still upset about it. I don't know what to do about that. And then everybody pulled out the Michael Crow stuff. What you're playing right now, where'd that come from? Benny?
The Michael Crow?
The video that you're playing right now.
Oh, I've had that for a while. I studied the Michael Crow case.
But Chris wasn't even an investigator. He was conducting the test. He wasn't the one interrogating.
Oh, yes, he was. He was called in.
He wasn't.
He was called in. He was also sued up the ass for it. He was called in to help. And he lost the lawsuit along with the rest of them.
What I wanted to make sure that you knew was that he didn't say that Jamie was in a sex ring. He just, he accidentally got the wrong person because Don said Jamie was at work with him and he was his alibi. So Chris was like, oh, what the heck? You know, so he thought it was Jamie, but when he found out that it was not Jamie Wilson, he went, like I said, he went to his Twitter, he went to his Discord, and he said, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I'm correcting this right now, and I know Jamie's still upset about it. Like I said, I don't know how to fix that. I understand he's pissed. I don't know what to do about that, but I do know.
You do realize that Chris's Twitter is locked down. Like, the public can't see it. So him apologizing on Twitter means absolutely nothing.
I don't know if it's private or
I looked, it is.
He made that. It might be private now. I know he closed his Discord. I don't know if it was private at the time. You know who you could talk to? Triggered Kinds. Trigger Minds has been. She's actually, you know, pretty friendly with Jamie. I think Jamie's mad at me, but I don't know. But anyhow, the point of the story here is that he did apologize to him, and I just don't want you to have the wrong information and think he didn't care about it and he let it just go and never said a word and didn't correct it, because he did. As soon as he read my text message, he went immediately to it wasn't quick enough, obviously, for Jamie. He was very upset. And it took, I think, 2 days for Chris to see my message. So for 2 days, it was a little bit hard to deal with for Jamie. I don't want you to think that Chris is out there being reckless, not giving a shit about making a mistake. He definitely cared.
But he could have got this person killed, literally. And then what was he going to say? I'm sorry?
Don't come at me with that angle and say, well, he could have got somebody killed.
Kind of it reminded me of the Michael Crow, that he tried to put an innocent 14-year-old away for life and then try to protect the real killer.
I think he was doing his job. I really do. I've gone through all this. I've watched it happen. I've watched them attack him with the Michael Crow case. I really think, Laura, this is your channel. I just wanted to clear up the thing about Jamie. And listen, if you want to talk about Michael Crow, go ahead. But I do know that Chris cleared up a lot of misinformation about the Michael Crow stuff too. He put it out pretty quickly because people started digging that out. People make mistakes. It happens. I've made them. You've made them. We've all made mistakes.
However, Chris has never apologized on his own channel, but that's not even my biggest issue. My biggest issue is what he's doing to this Twitter person. This Twitter person is not Brian Laundrie.
So let's analyze what Tiffany said. Notice she claims he felt horrible, and she doesn't want you to think that he's being reckless. Jamie is pissed, and I don't know what to do about it. Well, if you truly cared, as you say, you might want to call Chris and say that, he didn't really apologize and that maybe he should do it on his own show. Acknowledge that he got death threats for his irresponsible and reckless behavior and not vetting the people he accuses of things, as always. And notice not once does Tiffany mention the death threats or the people who showed up, and she is seemingly less worried about Jamie being called a child trafficker than Chris getting blamed for anything. Old Fish is innocent. Again. And as for the Crow case and the argument that he was just doing his job, history buffs might remember that people used that same argument at the Nuremberg trials. If he was just doing his job, why aren't all the other cops getting accused of psychologically torturing young kids during interrogations? Why aren't they being found responsible for having violated the civil rights of citizens? You'd think that sort of thing would be happening more often if it was just cops doing their job, no? And then there is the common, people make mistakes. We all make mistakes, right? Well, that's certainly true, but there are different categories of mistakes. There is, oops, I forgot to say thank you. And then there is, oops, I'm an ex-super cop, and I've accused another innocent person of a felony because I'm reckless and irresponsible. The thing that Tiffany said he wasn't. And what else? Oh, yes, he corrected the misinformation on the Crow case. Oh, she must mean the defensive clickbait that he rushed out to post after his sham false accusation against Nomadic Trek of being the most wanted person in the country and a murderer. Sorry, that obvious damage control post and the truth in all caps about Michael Crow made him look even worse and extremely defensive. No, Tiffany, he didn't clear up misinformation about the Michael Crow case. He attempted to defend himself from the worst of his mistakes and gave the same one-sided excuse he's been lying about for 2 decades. The evidence of that is the other sham where he put Dougie up to reading the 2004 legal ruling recently in the Crow civil suit case, pretending that he won a summary judgment in his favor, and both he and Dougie pretended to not know that on appeal that was overturned and upheld by the Supreme Court. He continues to lie to this day that he received a summary judgment and was exonerated, and both of them hoped that none of the gullible followers would ever fact-check. But maybe the worst thing that Tiffany said was that during the few days before Fish admitted his mistake, it was hard for Jamie. It was hard for Jamie, Tiffany? Hard is taking a calculus final in high school, getting death threats and clutching your AR-15 as people launch death threats and a mob says they're coming to kill you is not hard. So I think that shows just how little concern you have for another human's well-being. Unless, of course, it's Chris, who plugs your channel and tells all of his subs to pump your page above 100,000 subs.
AB and Tiffany are awesome.
He's a great person.
If everybody just followed me over for Tiffany, hit that smash button. Let's build both of these channels at least 100,000 subscribers.
Somebody showed up to Jamie's house thanks to Chris. He felt horrible and he fixed it. No, he did not. He did not fix it. And then instead of doing it on his own channel, he put out some kind of community post. Does he feel horrible about what he's doing to the guy on Twitter?
Do you have proof that that's not Brian Laundrie?
So, in this episode, we introduced another bad actor and McDonough apologist, Tiffany Marie. And sadly, a new victim of the McDonough cult, Jamie Wilson. But he won't be the last. And if you think that Tiffany Marie's interest here is sincere and it doesn't have anything to do with the subscriber sharing promises of McDonough, we have some more bridges to sell to you. So I think we'll end it there. Tune in next time for episode 4, the Gabby Petito and Nomadic Trek case. Donc, on se verra la prochaine fois, mes amis, pour la continuation de cette histoire.